Hey, good afternoon. My name is Vip Vipperman, and I'm excited to be back in the studio today with the Backing the Bold podcast. Today, an old friend, Rob Peabody, is here with Giveaway, a serial entrepreneur, and I'm excited to hear a little bit about their story and catch up with what's going on with Giveaway. Rob, thanks for coming into the studio today, man, or being a part of this conversation.
Absolutely. It's been a while, right? Got
Yeah,
lots to talk
yeah,
about.
exactly. Doc, where are you in the world today, Rob?
I'm in Plano, Texas, so suburb of Dallas, probably similar to where you are. I don't know,
Yeah, yeah,
but
not too far from me. It's funny with this podcast. I mean, I've been talking to people all over the world because, Eagle invests in a few different countries,
yeah,
or companies in a few different countries. So it's been kind of funny. I think you're probably the first one that's been right in the backyard.
we could have done this in person.
Yeah, we actually, I was like, why didn't we do this in person? But maybe on the next one, we'll do that. When you exit giveaway, we'll tell that story
There you go.
in
There you go.
person. We
Yeah.
should do that. Very cool. Well, hey, talk to us a little bit. You and I have known each other for a bunch of years, but for the listener out there, tell us a little bit of your backstory. I know you've built a few things, been to a few places. So give us a little bit of the Rob Peabody story.
Yeah. How far back do you want to go? I'm just, no, you know, yes. So was originally a pastor. Planted a church here in the Dallas area out of a larger mega church. I went to seminary after business school. Ended up starting nonprofits across the US, and that led to moving to London, to the UK, to start and raise our early family there and church plant and expand our nonprofit presence there in Western Europe. And ended up working in Budapest a lot and London and then in Dallas. And I was 30 with three young children, no help or support, living overseas, and realized I was an entrepreneur. Had about five jobs at the time, and was I was in the crazy cycle of flying to America to speak at a conference to raise money to go then fund the things that we were starting to hire nationals to run them. But it was a crazy hamster wheel, and I was the bottleneck of all of it. And
Hmm.
a lot of people got involved at that time, gave me a lot of mentoring and wisdom, and I had a new project that ended up becoming a company called VOMO, stands for Volunteer Mobilization, the SaaS platform for nonprofits. And I think that's where you and I first connected. And that led us to move back to the States at the very end of 2016. And so was on this journey of constantly starting things and mostly in the nonprofit space or entrepreneuring, I like to say. And then this was our first, launch into the for-profit early tech space. And so I'm
Yeah.
like a non-technical founder. I get a lot of pushback for that, or and like joking, but yeah, I'm the crazy idea guy. And so yeah, Vomo, we started that in 2017, scaled that up, found product market fit with nonprofits. Every nonprofit needs people and money, right, to do their
Hmm.
mission and objectives. That's a universal truth of all nonprofits. And so Vomo was trying, or we did, accomplish and solve the problem of how do I get more people involved in my nonprofit? How do I manage them? How do I get data analytics on the back end? And then how do we then take this supply of volunteer opportunities and take that over to the corporate world and sell a CSR turnkey solution for how do we get our employees to go serve in the local community, quarterly serve dates, compliance metrics, things like that, and a lot of cause marketing is what that led into. And yeah, did that for 5 years. Exited, sold it to a company called Virtuous, which is a nonprofit CRM out of Phoenix. Was good friends with a lot of the guys at Eagle, but never had done anything formally. And so then was able to jump in and be a part of one of the venture labs, and then now leading Giveaway, which is our newest venture that was birthed out of Eagle. We now got a lot of other people involved as well, but been a really cool journey that I would not have written out if I was projecting the future of my life. But it's been a lot of fun. I've learned a ton, a lot of what to do right, what I did wrong, and now I'm really learning how to get these companies off the ground and get them to scale, which is a ton of fun. And I really enjoy the building of businesses, kind of the 0 to 1, 0 to 3, get the repeatable sales process, get the go to market rhythms there. And then I like to help get other people to help manage stuff. So
Dude, I like it. That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, you've kind of learned your secret, like your superpower,
Mm,
and then learned how to work with other people and theirs, which is awesome. And that's a key part of the entrepreneurial journey, right? Is like to learn who you are and your skill sets, and then who to bring on to help build the other things that you need done that you can trust. So I love it.
absolutely. Yeah.
So with Giveaway, what's the problem that you guys saw? So you already, built saw a problem with Bomo, built towards that solution. Did that project. Talk to us a little bit about the problem you guys saw at Giveaway, and then we'll talk about what you guys built to solve it.
Yeah. So yeah, when I was doing Vomo previously, yeah, we're solving the I need more people problem, right? And awareness, right? Like how to get people into the funnel of a nonprofit to start taking action, right? So they can get the manpower they need or resources they need. And then when we got acquired, I went over to Virtuous, and it's a nonprofit CRM, but it's also a donor acquisition tool, kind of like a HubSpot for nonprofits, right? Like automating everything. And they do a lot of things, have a lot of cool feature sets. But while I was there, I kept, you know, I did a lot of different things for them during my earnout, but I was realizing that every nonprofit we run into, they're all capped on what the impact they can make, which is directly correlated with the amount of dollars that they can bring in to the nonprofit, right?
Okay.
And many of them, it's historically in the nonprofit or nonprofit tech space. It's like the axiom is, we're trying to squeeze as many dollars as we possibly can out of our existing donor base, trying to get recurring donations. That's a huge trend. But the thing that no one can really figure out to do, that at least from my vantage point, was like, how do you get like on top of the CRM, get really top of funnel and get more awareness, get
Hmm.
more traction, more traffic to your site? How do you get more prospects, like more prospective donors
Yeah.
coming into the pipeline, right? And so that's like the silver bullet that nonprofits are looking for. It's like, hey, I got these existing donors, and they're great, but how do we get more of them? And
Yeah.
it's right, and that's the key. And so with Giveaway, we set out to say, okay, every nonprofit or mission organization, any charity, right? They start with a why. Like they're always pretty prophetic in nature. That's kind of my old pastoral background coming in, but it's like, this is a problem. We're going to solve this problem. This is why we do what we do, right? And so then the thesis is, okay, if you can connect a nonprofit's why with a prospective donor's why, then you can really get like sustainable giving, right? Because you're connecting people up with stuff that they actually care about. And it's not just needs based that you're hearing about. But it's like, no, I'm wired. I care about this. It connects with my why. So yes, I want to connect with this nonprofit. I didn't realize that you guys even existed, but if I can get into your atmosphere, into your world, into your funnel, yeah, I want to give, I want to volunteer, I want to be a part, I want to really help this thing grow. And so that's why we call it giveaway. We've just made up a word. So giveaway.com is the URL. And the problem we're trying to solve is, how do we use technology? And we're using a lot of AI that I can tell you about, which is really cool, to make the nonprofits workload easier, make their life easier, allow them to do more with less, but then get real top of funnel and bring in more people, more awareness, more folks to connect with their why. And then ultimately the goal is they come in and then they convert to become a donor, right? So then they are a part of the impact story of that nonprofit, contributing towards them where previously maybe they didn't even know who they were. And then also giving the nonprofit tools to go target these types of people, which has never been done before, right? So getting their profiles and giving that kind of like the Hunter IO or Apollo, which we might use in the business space of targeting business clients, give them those exact same tools, but at a nonprofit level, so they can go out and be targeting prospective donors who will care about their mission.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, how's it going?
That's it's going good. So we officially launched in February.
Okay, so
Of
that's 5 months ago.
Yeah, February this
6 months.
year,
Yeah.
incorporated, got that thing going. Had to build out a lot of feature sets, obviously. June, we did a beta launch, and it went so well we had to shut it down. So it
Whoa.
Yeah, we got 50 nonprofit clients in 2 weeks in June. And
Wow.
so it was just like, oh wow, this is a lot of traction and I've got a really small team at the moment. And so it was like, how do we handle all of this? And so it was great. But
Mm,
in the sales cycle, July is notoriously slow for nonprofits, so that gave us a chance to kind of begin to tweak and look at what we got done during the beta to then go out and launch, which we officially have done here in August. And we now have over 300 nonprofit clients that are coming on. We're seeing
wow.
about five a day sign up, which is really cool. We're going lean. We've got a small team. We've validated a lot through the process. So I feel really great about the product. It's there, and now we are in kind of the hyper growth scale mode of getting the right folks on the team that can help us to you know not only attract the right nonprofits that are the right ideal customer profile for us, but also to support them, right? Like we need customer success, and how do you help them to see all of the tools and features? Because a lot of this stuff that we've built is first class AI that companies are using, but making that accessible for the nonprofit. So there is a learning curve, right? And so there's a lot of education that needs to happen and some hand holding and some training. So we're building out a lot of like self-automated training tools and whatnot in our admin dashboards so that they can feel confident that they know, what they've bought, what they have, and how to best use it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. I mean, 50 customers in 2 weeks was insane. 300 in 2 months is awesome.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of
how are you
overwhelming.
serving?
It's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, I can understand like kind of pulling it back real quick to say, whoa, we've got these 50 people. How do we serve them very well? And then learn from those interactions and that kind of thing. And then let's serve now the 300 really well and help them to do their things. Because at the end of the day, you're building, you're helping each of them build. But you guys are not a nonprofit. You guys are a for-profit tech solution,
Correct.
right?
Yep. Yep. We are a Texas LLC. Yeah, my thought on that, and I, as a previous nonprofit guy, I was constantly, capped by the amount of money I could raise. The same problem we're trying to solve now for our clients. And when I realized that, oh, we can actually create a tool and have, relevant pricing model to it, we can have a for-profit company that's doing a ton of good, but it can be self-sustained, actually grow profit, right? Which I know we're all about with Eagle. And it's like, hey, you can make an impact and also make money at this, right? And then the multiplication of that is huge because then we can go do all kinds of amazing stuff with those dollars as they come in, or you get exits or distributions or whatever for your investors. So yeah, definitely a for-profit company. I really like the model, and I've seen it succeed before, and so it's cool to be a part of that.
That's awesome. Uh, Talk to me about the impact you're having. Like maybe pick one of these nonprofits that you guys are kind of engaging with that you're comfortable in sharing a little bit about. Tell them how you're serving that client, just so people get a picture of like what the product is actually doing.
Yeah. So we had a foundation come to us in Dallas, and they work with inner city youth, more disadvantaged populations across the Dallas Metroplex. A lot of education initiatives, a lot of homelessness, a lot of impoverished, I guess poverty, helping to get people to come out through that and break those cycles. And so they came to us and they're like, "Hey, we've got like some large gift donors that give to us, and that is our fundraising strategy, right?
Right.
But we know we can't be dependent upon 20 people that fund our whole organization, because if they drop off, we're in real trouble. And
Yeah.
this is a thing in the nonprofit space. It's like, you know we can't just be relying on legacy donors because that population is aging out, but also if one or two of them drops, that really hurts, right? And so
Yeah.
so the thing is how do you go get small to mid-sized donors, and how do you get the next generation of people that are going to give to these organizations? And so that is part of the solution we're trying to solve. So one thing we did is we've created a marketplace at Giveaway. And so nonprofits will come on, they'll upload their giving opportunities, and they're all like transparent, outcome based. So
Hmm.
one of the things I see in nonprofit space a lot is like, hey, Vip, you gave me $1. Where did my dollar go? And a lot, I mean, when I was running nonprofits, I would have a hard time answering that question for you. Like, oh, well, it went to our overhead and this and that, and I can't directly tie that to impact, but here's a cool story. And hopefully you'll keep giving me your dollar, you know?
Right,
And
right,
and
right.
and so so with this, if it in the marketplace, you're actually uploading opportunities like we need 25 backpacks for a back to school drive in South Dallas, or we need school
Right.
lunches or tutoring help for this student who's underperforming. It costs $40 for an hour. Will you fund it? Right. So the donors are coming in, they're getting connected by their why, and then our AI marketplace is serving up relevant opportunities that connect with that person's why. It's then transparent. It's like, oh, okay, I could do backpacks, or I really care about basketball. I was a big basketball player growing up. Here's something I could fund that has to do with basketball. And so, breaking it down to like the designated gift level of
Yeah.
of funding those initiatives. So that's one thing. But then for this foundation, we took their database of current givers. We have an AI persona builder, right? So we're getting into
Oh.
agentic AI. So you can go in the back end of Giveaway and you literally create like, hey, we know our prime donors are women age 40 to 45. They have this education level and they give this size gift. And so the AI then goes and creates a persona of like, Sally suburban mom or whatever, and you can call it whatever you want. And then it'll go build audiences of people that we know that are out there in the community that have that exact profile that, hey,
Oh.
nonprofit, you should be reaching out to them, right? And so
As
then
in like goes to social media or to different places like that?
you can go to social media, it writes the content for you. It can drop it into an email. We've got an AI based, content creator. We've got the persona builder to know exactly how to talk to them. And then we've got a grant writing tool that's literally searching for grants for the nonprofits. It's writing the grants for them, and then all they do is push submit. And so
Nice.
yeah, it's really cool. And so that along with our AI targeting, when you connect all those things together, you've got like the best friend tool for a biz dev person in a nonprofit, or for a smaller nonprofit, maybe the executive director who is in charge of raising the funds. But it's like, hey, you probably don't have the capacity to go hire a full-time grant writer, a full-time content writer, a social media manager, um, somebody who's doing analysis and research to target new donors. Here's Giveaway, and it's going to do all those things for you. And you're literally, it's like working with ChatGPT, but inside of our own use case, and it's
Yeah.
creating and pumping all this out for you. But it's also the smartest employee you'll ever have because it knows everything about your nonprofit, everything that's ever been publicly put out on the web, and then it's just
Mm.
using these tools to get really, really smart, and then allow us to go then target and create less workload and help them to go do this, and with the ultimate goal to raise more money and make more impact.
Yeah, dude, sounds incredible. I mean,
Yeah, it's
just that.
fun.
The question for you regarding the marketing side of things. So you didn't say your background is marketing.
Mm.
Tell us a little bit. In other words, like, serial entrepreneur, built a lot of things. But is there somebody on your team that's also like knockouts, like guy in the marketing guy or gal in the marketing space that
Yeah,
just can rep that kind of thing over and over again that you kind of built that thinking off of?
absolutely. Yes, good prompt. Keith Brown is my co-founder, and
Okay.
Keith is I met him working with Eagle actually, and I know he's kind of a growth hacker guy who's worked with a lot of the portfolio companies in the Eagle portfolio, and he's probably the smartest technologist I've ever worked with. And I
Mm.
joke with him, I'm like, execution is his love language, is what I always tell him, and
Nice.
he just likes to get stuff done. But he's really into AI and has a whole roster of AI developers that work with us. Um, but previously was, yes, very into marketing, and he's been the CMO of multiple like publicly held companies. He's sold multiple companies and started them. I mean, he was the guy back when superpages.com came around. He ran all the marketing efforts for that thing and then worked with marketing for Verizon, and just, yes, the guy is, so I'm like, hey, it'd be really cool if we could go target nonprofits, right? And find the donors, the prospective donors that would have the right propensity to give and convert, right? Like if we could get a bullpen of those people and then shoot the right messages at them, that would be really great. That would solve this problem. He goes, oh, well, I know how to do that. And he's like, it's just
Nice.
and can create every lever that needs to be pulled to go pull that off. And so yeah, he runs our dev team. He's operating as our co-founder and CTO. And
Nice.
yes, I mean, Giveaway would not be where it is without him. The guy is he is incredibly talented.
No, that's encouraging. I just one of the things that you were talking about was all the tech, that's happening and the things
Yeah.
that you guys are solving for. I know your experience was so powerful in building companies and in the volunteer mobilization space. Like just the knowledge of how nonprofits work and how to work with them
Hmm.
is so powerful. But then how to help them market is such a great like combination platter. So it sounds like you guys are doing that dual founder thing. That's just a lot of fun if it's the right team.
Yes. Yeah. And I've had teams before, and or we all have. And but the sweet spot I'm finding is if you can find a counterpart that runs as fast as you do and but
Mm.
has the complementary skill. He's like my work wife. That's kind of a joke, but but like we're totally opposite. But we are on the same page and aligned with where we're trying to go and where we're headed. And so that makes it so much fun because yeah, you've got the right counterpart. And I find a lot of guys like myself, if you're not a technical founder, you've got to have that counterpart who can
It
play
is
that role, right? And if you can get that put together correctly, I mean that's a beautiful combo.
nice. Yeah, we often say a talented team on a redemptive mission, fighting in a battle that matters.
There you go.
You got people that they can do their job well. You can trust working with them. You're doing something redemptive together, like solving a big problem, and you're fighting in a battle,
Mm,
like that, but that it actually matters. Like
mm,
when you win, other people, vulnerable people, like the ones that the nonprofits are serving, they win big when these nonprofits get more funding so that they can serve their constituents better. So
exactly.
super
Yeah.
cool. Well, you mentioned some things you've learned as an entrepreneur. Tell me about three or four of the lessons like over the years as you've built, projects living overseas. If you've, built Vomo and now as you're building Giveaway, what are some of the things that have really been insightful for you to learn?
A lot. It's um
Well, and as a friend
yeah.
said, often these come out of mistakes that I've made that I've learned from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. One is I think I go back to like yes, building the right team that doesn't like a lot of times previously like you'll find the right people that have the right heart, right, or care, but maybe haven't been there or done it before.
Mm,
And I know people need a chance and need an opportunity, but if you can find guys who have been to the at least where you've been, if not further, and get them on the team, that is massively helpful. I mean, that cuts the learning curve big time, you know.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, learning that and being able to put that into play now. I think testing and iterating, like with Vomo, I was like, hey, we got a platform, let's go. And then you're just kind of building it on the fly, as you
Hmm.
and one customer gives this feedback or one investor, and then you turn around and like, oh, okay, we can, and then we tweak it and go over here, and you're just burning cash the whole time while you're figuring this out.
Yeah.
And like I would say with Vomo, I probably didn't have the product that was like actually sellable and a repeatable sales process for like 2 years probably, because you're and you don't know what you don't know, so and so you're going for it.
Yeah.
Um,
You
but
get
now,
feedback, you iterate, and yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I mean that's the natural journey. But um, with Giveaway, we've been able to slow down and test a lot of stuff, and
Mm,
and and we already know the space, right? Like we know the nonprofit tech generosity space, and so you're able to scope a little faster and then get the right team to build quicker and then go test, iterate. And so I feel like it's been healthier in the journey to get to where we are in a lot faster period of time, right? And so that's come through experience. And like other stuff like decision making, like, you know, with previous ventures or previous companies, stuff hits you for the first time and you're like, I don't know what should we do about this, and you're like, let's go talk to my board or let's go talk to my mentors or let's go talk to the team and it would take sometimes weeks to go parse through like what's true, what's reality, what's the right move. If we do
right.
this, what does that trigger? How does this go? And so now what I love is being like a multiple time founder now. It's like, oh, I have this decision making grid in my head because I can go back to all the things I did where it was right or wrong. And you're like, oh, okay, No, this is exactly what we need to do right here. Like I've done this before, I've seen this, and it also has been helpful because you now know what's worth stressing over and
Interesting.
what's not, right? Like there's been so much stuff in the past that I've like been anxious about or stressed out about or lost sleep about. And now you're like, actually, that's not that big a deal. Like this,
Mm.
you're okay, you know? And so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
these are major things you can stress about those, but the smaller stuff, like that's just part of the journey. And as an entrepreneur, it's going to be this, it's going to be this, it's up, down, and that's life. And you're just going to have to deal with it. And um, yeah, I think that's been a huge learning thing for me. I don't know how you teach that without going through it,
Do it. Yeah.
but at least, I don't know, maybe that's comforting. I don't know.
Well, one thing I've noticed, the entrepreneurial folks, like they see a problem, and where other folks are like, I'll go complain about that on Facebook or someplace like that. Entrepreneurs are typically like, they see a problem, they're like, oh, I could figure that out. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, let's go build a solution to that. And I love that thing about entrepreneurial people where they're scrappy and they're like, let's just go solve it. I mean, I've been in meetings with a lot of, you and like you're talking about with Keith and a lot of other folks who are like, you're having the conversation, you're like, oh, let's go iterate on that right now. Like
Yeah.
if we have a conversation with ChatGPT or Claude while we're in this discussion, we could actually solve for some of this moment. Maybe even get some of this code started.
Yeah.
And it's a fun environment to be in. I know for some people that speed of activity is just mind blowing, right? And they're not ready for it. But it's fun being around folks that are entrepreneurial like this, and have a passion for getting stuff done and just not letting it sit. Why nonprofits? You have built tech in this space for a while. You've built some nonprofits and served a lot of space. But why do you continue to have a passion to
Hmm.
help nonprofits?
Yeah, that's a good because I'm crazy, right? No, yeah. Um, I think it comes out of my background. I always want to be part of things that are not just making money, but are doing good and making impact. And I just feel like life, a lot of my personal beliefs as well as my just thoughts on the blink of time that we are on this planet, right? I mean, it's a vapor, right? It's so
Mm.
short. And so making money is one thing, and I want to make money, and we want to make returns for our investors, and we have a mandate to do that, and we will. But it's also like, what is the significance that we're playing in this? Like, what problems are we solving for people that are doing the good, right? And um, so that's been a passion, and I was that operator person. I've started like five different nonprofits before all this, and
Mm.
so I know the pain points, I know what the limitations were, I could see the impact in people's lives. And so now we like to say that like we exist to serve those who serve others, right? So the
Huh.
nonprofit folks, they're on the front lines, right? They're doing the work. They're deeply engaged in human relationships, seeing the best and worst of what's going on in humanity. And I'm like, okay, well, if I can get around with all these technologists and nerd out on some super cool things that will make these frontline nonprofits' lives easier,
Easier.
that's like
Mm.
a really worthy thing to do, right? And so
Gotcha.
I, yeah, I'm passionate about that, and I'm also passionate or becoming more passionate about like, can we take high level, like AI, agentic AI, for instance, which we're working with a lot right now. Can we take high level stuff that's out there in the marketplace and capture that and contextualize it for the nonprofit space, which historically are kind of more laggard on the technology innovation curve, right? And but
Gotcha.
bring it to them in a way that is palatable, that's actually going to move the needle for them. Because, yes, building these companies, we're going to make money, we're going to make returns. But if we don't make a higher propensity for impact or turn up the needle for impact for our end user clients, then we're really just running a business to make some cash. But that's not the goal here. We want to do both, and I think we can do both, and I've seen it happen before, right?
Nice. So you feel like you can serve that end user better, the homeless person who's getting help, the trafficked person who's getting support, the child who's getting like Boys and Girls Club or something like that. by serving, you can serve that person best by helping the nonprofit that's supporting them, that's serving them.
Exactly. Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. Because yeah, those nonprofits and those agencies, those missions, that is their objective and their mission. So how can we support them best, right? So that ultimately the human flourishing impact is happening through the work that they're doing, and we're just helping to tech enable and scale that up so they can do more of it. They can do it more economically,
Yeah.
and they can see more impact happen,
Well,
which is really cool.
yeah. So the other big part of the work that you do is really focused around donors and generosity, right? Like
Hmm.
your goal is helping that nonprofit connect with someone who can fund their work. So tell me a little bit just about, I mean, for those out there listening, donor mindset, like stewardship, generosity. What do you think about when you think about, that side, since that's the person you're targeting?
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's interesting. So I feel like people like to talk, and it's very PC and very like part of our society to talk about doing good, right? And that's cool. People like that, but that's very easy to talk about, and those words are fairly empty if we don't go put action to it, right?
Mm.
And I saw this in the volunteer space. I'm seeing this in the donor space. Um, and then also you combine that with technology and the rhythms of our lives and how busy you and I are, and like kids and drop-offs and school and the Zoom meeting and this and that and emails and all the things are going on, and so things have to yell really loudly at us before we're going to act on them,
Mm.
because it's difficult to break through the noise, right?
Yeah.
And so I think about the average donor or prospective donor, right, who's in that world of like, yeah, I care about these things, but I'm just ignorant of what's even out there. I don't know what the needs are. I don't know if I can trust this nonprofit because what are they going to do with the dollars? And like, there's just a lot of mistrust going on. And so if we can break through that and say, no, no, you are funding this outcome, right? Like, this is what it's going to do. And then we'll report back to you that that outcome happened. Like, that's really comforting as a prospective donor, because I can see where those dollars are going, right? And then if you can talk to me in the way that Rob, that most connects with the way I think and believe, which is why we
Mm.
built this AI persona builder and then the content writer.
Gotcha.
It's serving up that opportunity, 30 different ways to 30 different people based on what their wiring is or what's going to most connect with them and make the most sense for them. And so, like, one of our personas is a high net worth individual that a nonprofit can grab and they can curate it, and it talks about how this person wants impact reports, they want quarterly touches, then leave me alone, right? But then other people want like an Instagram story and a follow up and a text message and this and that. And so we're all so unique. We all need to be communicated with contextually, but can we? How can we do that? And the only way you can do that is either hire a team of like 100 people doing this every day, or use
Ah.
AI and the technology that can do this for you. And so that's been the thesis of where we're going, of why we want to create that. But I really
Well,
think it's breaking through the noise. It's making this the user experience for the donor incredibly simple. I keep saying if they can't find an opportunity and fund it within 3 clicks, like, we've lost them. It's got to be so easy, just like every other social media app they're using, and that's the norm now. And
yeah.
then can we tell them the impact story on the back end to really show them what that gift has done?
Nice. Yeah, because they want to see the results of the thing that they've done. It's like, hey, if you asked me for funding, I
Yeah.
want to know that the money I gave actually solves, like, helped something. I mean, it's interesting. Different. I was actually with my son over the weekend for a particular organization that he's a part of, selling popcorn
Okay.
to raise money for, like, his adventures, as it were. And just, some people respond to that org really, really well. They know what's going on. Other people look at it and they're like, what in the world are you guys doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, doing this. And we did have a few people ask us if we had Girl Scout cookies. We did not, at the event, because they were looking for Thin Mints
Popcorn.
or
Yeah.
something like that. It was pretty funny. I mean, I'm just, this whole space is interesting. I've got some people I've talked to that are like, I'll give you money, but don't ever, ever send me a mailer because I don't want to get stuff in the mail. I just don't want to have to take yours, rip it in half, and throw it away. But I've heard, talk to other guy who's raised billions of dollars through mailers.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's just kind of fascinating to me that whole world of like generosity and funding nonprofits and helping them accomplish the tasks that they're trying to help and serving those on the need end side, like the
Yeah.
vulnerable, as some friends of ours refer to the most vulnerable person
Yep.
that's out there that really has the need. So excited that you guys are building the tech to solve that problem, which is really cool. Tell me really quick, what does the future look like? So if Giveaway is successful in 5 to 7 years, what will you have accomplished, or how will things change?
Yeah, a few ways. In the space, I think this will become so in the nonprofit tech space, I think we have the opportunity. We're getting so much interest from other companies, acquisition. We are an acquisition target of different groups. They're looking at this because they're like,
Hmm.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, you're solving a problem. We all know the problem's there, but we haven't figured out a way to do this. Um, you guys are doing that, which is interesting. So I think this will become the norm of how a small to mid-sized, even large ones, but they have more resources, but small to mid-sized nonprofits, how they target and essentially create a new line item of revenue for the nonprofit,
Hmm.
because they're going after this new donor perspective space that they don't even know who these people are, right? So I
Yeah.
think that'll become the norm. I think ultimately that Giveaway has the opportunity to replace the give button on a nonprofit's website.
Hmm.
If you go to a nonprofit site or a church website, anybody raising money, usually you'll go to the give button and it's a plug-in right from some other company and they'll say give $25, $100, whatever, and do you want to give recurring or and then it just boom, you're done, gone, and you're like, okay, I hopefully I'll hear from them. um,
Yeah.
but what we've got is the ability to actually take giveaway and replace that button. It opens up that that nonprofit's hub within giveaway, and it's like, oh no, no, you can fund this, you can fund that, you can fund that, and it's all the opportunities. And we've seen when other groups have done this, they actually 6x their donations because
Wow.
you're showing them where the money's going. It's transparent,
It's
it's
not just
outcome
25,
based.
50, blah.
Yeah, it's
It's you're doing backpacks or this or
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And
And
even
that's
if
the
you're
secret.
needing it for overhead, like, hey, we are trying to raise the money for this person's salary and he's going to get paid this and this is what they're going to do, and would you want to contribute to that, right? And so pulling back the curtain and making it more transparent, we're seeing it as a trend that is already started that will continue
Yeah.
to go for the next 5 years. And I believe in the future you're not going to have generic give buttons. You're going to have a user experience like this, like what we created at Giveaway.
Dude, I
Um,
love it.
yeah,
That's really
yeah, it's
exciting.
interesting. And then ultimately, like on a much more like I don't know, meta scale of what could happen here. I believe that if we play our cards right, we can unlock an entire generation of more generous people, right? Who
Mm.
are actually not just talking about it, but they have the tools, the marketplace, and the tools on giveaway to truly put action to these words and go
Mm.
change the lives of the most disadvantaged in our communities, the most vulnerable
That's
people,
cool.
the MVPs, like you're talking about in our local communities. And um, the other thing is, I've realized is that giving has to be hyper local, right? So again, if it's just great, cool, we're talking about this, or give it to something on a national level, that's awesome. But if we can break this down and we've got all this geotechnology in the marketplace to like, okay, these are actual needs in Vip's neighborhood and his zip code, and these are the things he cares about, and this is what they're doing. The
Right.
the, the opportunity to give is going to be exponential because we're connecting the heart with the hyper local
Yeah.
and truly seeing that impact.
These are backpacks for kids that go to your child's school, or this is
Exactly.
trafficking that happens in the hotel next to you, and how we're trying to
Yes.
help those survivors.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Makes it super real. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's bringing it closer to home.
Hmm.
Well, talk to me real quick. I think you've said it before, but we always say we don't want to just give people something to think about and something to feel. We want to make sure people have an action step to take. So, what if someone's listened to this podcast today and they want to know what do I do? If you're on the nonprofit side, tell us about that. And if you're just someone out there who listens and they're like, oh, I'd love to give to something local in my community that I care about. How do I do that, Rob?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so if you are at a church, nonprofit, any kind of charity, any kind of mission organization, you go to giveaway.com, right? And you can actually sign up for free. Like we have a free tier, people can use it. They can receive funds immediately through that. So that's there. Then we've got all the AI tools and the targeting and all that, which is more of an upgrade. But all price points are still super low, and it's a cool way to jump into this space. So if you're a nonprofit, go to that. And then if you are a donor, it's the same place. It's giveaway.com and click marketplace, which is kind of in the top header. And
Yeah.
that literally is going to pull up the entire marketplace based on your geolocation, your IP address of your phone or your computer, show you relevant ways to give right there in your local community, like we're talking about, VIP, like the hyper local. And you literally have a wallet. You can it connects to your debit card, credit card, ACH, whatever. Put some dollars into it, and then just start giving on the platform and seeing the impact that's made. And so
Nice.
super easy for both sides of it. But yeah, it's we need and want to serve as many nonprofits as we possibly can to get more opportunities on the platform, and then start driving more and more donors, prospective donors, to the site so they can marry up, and then all boats kind of rise as we've got this exchange happening across the platform.
Dude, super cool. Well, Rob, thanks for being a part of the conversation today. Love hearing about the work that you guys are doing, and here's to your success, man.
Hey, thank you. It's been great. Thanks for having me on. This is super helpful.